Good morning. It's Friday morning after breakfast sometime, and after getting my teeth done and doing the Navage system, gonna take a shower. Gonna pump some iron today. Already had a little training session with my little girl here. Got my Jedi robe on. Reminds me of the movies. I don't know why. One of my lady friends said when I told her I was doing these things in my bathroom, she says, "Oh, like Hugh Hefner." Yeah, I apologize if I'm tempting anybody out there by not keeping the robe tight up. Okay, well, I'm not going to go walking around in a doggone bathrobe like that jackass did. Today's a wonderful day, folks. I mean, the good news is that Disney's going down. It is an enemy. For certain, it's an enemy. I have told you that the most powerful person I ever met in my life was Walt Disney's granddaughter up in Scottsdale. She was so well dressed. The clothes fit her impeccably. She handed me her business card. I lost the card. I wish I had it. I've looked for it many times, but in all my movement and travels, I have misplaced it. But I remember what the business card said. She was a member of the Queen's Privy Council. As an American citizen, you're a member of the Queen's Privy Council? Oh, yes, that wasn't the only thing on that card. She was also a member of the Order of the Garter. Now, what the hell is that? Forgive me. I mean, the thing comes to mind is it some damn lesbian thing or what? I don't know, man. The Order of the Garter. I think basically that what she is a member of the black nobility. The black nobility are really calling the shots. That nobility you see out there, they're just the figureheads. Just like the Pope. The white Pope, he's the figurehead. The guy who calls the shots and his boss is the black Pope. It took me a long time to sort out that stuff about the black nobility, by the way. I looked at it for years. I was educated in Florence, Italy, and while I was over there, I just wish I had taken notes. Wish I'd have paid more attention. I was told about where the tradition of blackballing came up in Venice. Yeah, Venice is one of the cities that the evil ones founded. From there, they moved inland into Europe. You got to remember these guys were on the high seas before anything. These guys, I also think, came out of the Polynesian Islands. They survived the last devastation of the Earth Age, and they made it in ships. And I think one of the evidence of them is the fact that the language, the similarities there. And we have maritime law, admiralty law, which we are under today. We're all, it's crazy stuff. I'm not an expert in that. I don't even want to go there. I think there's got to be some attorneys. Good little girl. She's pretty alert. There's some good attorneys out there who will research this at some point in time and will come to our aid. I do advocate, though, for the American Accreditation Registry. I think this bar association stuff needs to go to hell, and certainly it will once we restore the original 13th Amendment, which deprives all bar association members of any and all citizenship in these United States of America. Why? Because the attorneys had gotten us into the War of 1812. Now, I realize the attorneys are going to be screaming about that, but that really is the law of the land. And of course, I'm going to love it when they say, "We didn't know." What have you... Forgive me, I want to cuss right now. What have you donkeys been telling us for a long time? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, why do we have a British accreditation registry? Why is there not, or why can there not be an American accreditation registry? I should do a video just on that topic, but something tells me that people will be tuning into these things long after I'm gone. My name is Dr. John Taylor Kent. Yeah, I know, I don't introduce myself. I don't even do it on the phone with people. I expect people to know who I am. I know that's kind of narcissistic. I don't have a streak of narcissism in me, but ask my housekeeper. She'll argue with me all day long about that. I just don't think. There's things I just don't think about. My voice sounds so unique that I call up people 17, 19 years later, and I say hello. And they say, John? And I'm like, yeah, that's all it takes. Now, the reason my voice sounds so unique is because I can't hear it. I've never been able to hear it since I was about age 6. I was supposed to go deaf. I had mastoiditis as a child, resultant of German measles. And for a year, I went to a doctor, actually a Captain Wren, who pulled my medical records because he had cured mastoiditis using sulfa drugs. And it was groundbreaking. So he pulled my records. They never got returned. Oh well. And for 10 years, children with mastoiditis were cured using sulfa drugs. Then mastoiditis became resistant to sulfa drugs. And now, if a child gets mastoiditis, that's it. It's pretty much a death sentence. They're going to go deaf. Mm-hmm. The physician told my parents, at least my mother, that I would be deaf, completely deaf by the time I was 12 years old. They didn't tell me about that till I decided to become a musician. I was playing music way too loudly. I suffer tinnitus, however you want to say it. Not on a regular basis. I don't have any at the moment, which I'm really grateful for. I had to give it up. I had to relax from loud music. I'd wear cotton in my ears for days to take those out, and I could hear things again, and I wasn't getting tinnitus. So, I'm pumping iron today. I love it. I think we all need to celebrate because Walt Disney, who has undermined this nation since he started that enterprise of his, in which he has embedded all kinds of suggestions in the cartoons and in the drawings. What do we call those things when they're just below the threshold of consciousness? Subliminal programming. The guy's guilty of mind control. He's guilty of sorcery, if you will. He's guilty of doing that on a large scale. So all you women out there who have princess complexes, okay, now you know where you got it from. You got it from Walt Disney. All you people out there who are so worried about Bambi and I was traumatized. I mean, I remember going to the drive-in with my parents to watch Bambi, and oh my God, I was a young boy at the time. I remember I fell asleep and my father carried me in on his shoulder into the house. I was half awake, and he put me to bed. But you know, I hid behind the doggone seat when the hunter shot Bambi. It's called traumatic. I can't remember the name, and I'm a psychologist. Well, they don't teach us that stuff in school. They don't teach us for a reason, because they don't want us knowing about it. They don't want us telling you about it. They don't want us interfering with their brainwashing, with their control of the public, with their shaping of the public. And you and I are nothing but giant white rats to them. And if you think not, then think about, well, okay, we're giant white mice. Think about the fact that you do clicks on a computer. You have a mouse, and you click on the mouse. I was fortunate in that I went through a behavioral psychology program, which included a rat lab. And it was an important thing. I needed that training, and I learned quite a bit from the rat lab. At the end of all of the rats in the rat lab were all females. This municipality of Anchorage only authorized the use of one gender of use in the lab because they didn't want them getting loose and didn't want them replicating, multiplying. Lifespan on a mouse is about 18 months. I named my mouse Rose. I had a partner. She was sharp. She got straight A's. I got dinged down to a B. The teacher, I don't remember his name. I think he was a little bit upset with me because my mouse ran faster than anybody else's mouse. I did not intend to hurt my mouse. I really liked her. She was really nice. She bit my partner all the damn time, but she wouldn't bite me. And everybody else was getting bit too, by the way, in case you're wondering. You see, we were trained in using operant conditioning, and we were using operant conditioning on the mice. And we were giving them tasks to do, and they were really mundane, kind of weird tasks, and they got very complicated as far as teaching these mice, and it was so complicated that the mice got frustrated and they would bite us. Well, they bit my partner. Rose bit my partner several times. But I did some, I worked extra. I went in off lab, hours. I went on the weekends. I took good care of the mouse. My partner was pretty busy. I don't remember her name. I just remember she was a brunette woman, kind of petite, very attractive, a straight A student, a married woman. I don't have any problem with that. I think that, we mind our P's and Q's, boys and girls. We respect one another. We support marriage. Okay. I think that's what she was anyway. I don't remember very well, but she got the A and I got the B. And I went over that in detail in his office with him, and he said, you got a good solid B plus. You just didn't quite make it. I think he was upset because the reason Rose went faster than the other mice is because I was training her one weekend and I accidentally dropped the lid down on her tail. And when it just barely caught the end of her tail, and it took the skin off the end of her tail, and there's no hiding that bare bone out there. And my God, did she take off. She went through that maze so damn fast it wasn't funny. And then I realized all I had to do was snap that lid, and bam, Rose was down to the end like you wouldn't believe. I know it was kind of cruel. I know it was an accident, and I know that I was going to get caught no matter what, and they got pretty upset. They thought it was cheating. Okay, I had an accident, but I want you to know that at the end of things, I kept track of my mouse. I loved my little girl. She was a good mouse. She had treated me well. She never bit me. And I took care of her on the weekends. I went in and I guess she knew that. Anyway, at the end, the requirement was that all the mice be euthanized. And I asked the professor what he did and all of that. And I think he realized, my concern, and he kind of let me know between the lines that he was going to be using carbon monoxide, and he was going to be gassing him this particular weekend. And so I went ahead just before he did that, and I removed. And also, by the way, I had a woman I ate lunch with quite often, and she had a son, and she wanted my mouse for her son, for a pet. And I said, well, great. I mean, if you'll take care of her, it's not going to live that long. You might get a year out of her, a little over a year. But, I guess she actually lived almost 2 years. The boy loved that little mouse. She had that little missing part off the tip of her tail. She was white, and she clicked away. She did pretty much what I wanted her to do. I saved her, and I made sure she had a good life. I felt she deserved it. As you can tell, I'm a little overly sensitive. That's just the way I'm made. I don't care for it very much. I'd rather be not so damn teary. It's not very masculine, not very male-like of me. We ought to talk about the androgyny studies sometime. And as soon as I remember the psychologist woman who researched that, I'll bring those stories up to you because it's a little different than what you might think. And they won't publish stuff that they don't like. We need to celebrate because Walt Disney's on the way out. It's a good thing. What I understand is what has gone on in some of those rooms down there, and I've never been to that Florida location. My parents took me to the California location. You know, California's closer to Alaska than Florida is. Anyway, I heard some things that went on in those rooms that, well, let's put it this way. I'd be talking about what I don't really know about, but it didn't sound very good. And those all-American girls and boys weren't so all-American, especially the girls. Sorry, but you aren't really princesses. And this complex, this princess complex that you all have needs to end. If you don't have any expectations and you're expecting a simple, humble life, then when your husband lavishes things upon you with his hard-earned sweat and his hard work, then you'll appreciate it better. You'll be surprised more. You won't be so entitled and you won't be so bitchy. You know, remember that moderation is a good idea, and modesty is a wonderful thing for a woman to have. You do want to open up to your man, just him and him alone. You want to reserve yourself for that. Anyhow, I hear the Baptists have the best sex lives in the country. I think that's because they're pretty modest. Wonder what the Mormons do, how they do. Anyway, I got to sleep a little bit better last night, doing a little bit better. I'm going to recommend this Navage system. You know, when I first started doing my videos here, I was sniffling and all the time. Well, I'm watching my diet a little bit more carefully right now, but what I want to remind you of is the fact that we live in an ionized atmosphere. They spray the atmosphere and ionize it. They use atmospheric heaters to charge it up. They control the weather. They create hurricanes and tornadoes and direct them where they want. Been able to do that for a lot longer than what you would realize. My brainy friend, a little Jewish girl in Louisiana, she figured out that they've been doing it before the Dust Bowl. That's a long time. You know, just watch some of these tornadoes and watch the lines that they take and watch the hurricanes. And when they backtrack, you can bet they've been manipulated. Oh, and it won't be by another government. International treaty requires that you only modify the weather over your own country. I doubt the United States adheres to that very well, but who knows? And the biggest atmospheric heater in the world happens to be in Alaska. Galena, I believe it is. Not Gulcana, but Galena. Similar name. It's in the middle of nowhere. I've driven through there many times, and you talk to people about it, and they just keep their mouth shut and don't say a word. Why is it built there in that location in Alaska? Oh, and there are bigger arrays. In Australia, there's a bigger array. There's probably 30. Well, there were 30 probably 30 years ago, but there's probably more now. They do time them up, and they'll work in harmony. So, you know, we got a worldwide government with a worldwide conspiracy, and there's no oversight on that stuff as far as I can tell. And the University in Alaska, Fairbanks, now has control of the HARP project. Apparently, their technology has gone beyond that, so they don't need the HARP anymore. High Altitude Aurora Radio Project, I think that's what it stands for. Dr. Begich in Alaska wrote a book on it called Angels Don't Play This Harp. He was very concerned about it. He tapped into the literature as best he could. I can tell you this, incredible patents written around that. And even though the one in Alaska is the smaller, and there's bigger ones in Russia and in Australia. It's the most powerful. And it was built on location where it was because of its energy source. Imagine a 4 foot in diameter, not circumference, 4 foot in diameter gas pipeline. Natural gas pipe, 4 feet in diameter. How much energy that would have? Well, it's called an atmospheric heater for a reason, and they're using natural gas to run the son of a bitch. They can target about anywhere they want on the planet with that technology. Yep. They've got all kinds of stuff going that you and I would not believe if we were told the truth straight up. We would go, nah, no way. Maybe in the future, but not now. They've done it in the past. Some of this stuff they've done in the 50s, some in the 40s. They've done incredible things. Oops, excuse me, forgive me. It's an okay robe, but it's a artificial poly. I wonder how many polys they had to kill to make this bathrobe. Well, I think it's good news about Disneyland. I'm still wondering what Cliff High was predicting or prophesying about when he said that from April 19th till the 26th, that week was going to be a dramatic week. You know what? I'm going to take a guess. There's been a lot of fires around the planet. Yeah. All within the last week. Mm-hmm. Yep. What are they burning? Are they having a marshmallow roast? Yeah, I remember those as kids. When we were kids, just about burning our mouths eating those hot things. They weren't any good for us. I don't think the lacquer on the clothes hanger was good for us either, but we survived. I'm pretty sure that what they've been burning has been food processing, manufacturing plants, big ones. So you can tell that there's a method to their madness, and they want to starve us. And if you read in the Old Testament about people throwing their gold and their silver into the streets, that prophecy may be something we see fulfilled in our lifetimes. Why? Because food's going to be more valuable than gold or silver. If you can't eat, what good does the metal do you? If you can't eat and don't have strength, how are you going to cart it around? Folks, they're intent upon taking us down. The way I see it is, all the world is a stage, as written by William Shakespeare, Sir Francis Bacon, or should we call him Sir Francis Kent. Nobody in England has taken me up on my challenge. The plays of William Shakespeare were written by Sir Francis Bacon, whose proper last name should be Kent, after his father. His mother was the Queen Mother, Elizabeth. Her consort was a Kent. Sir Francis Bacon had a brother. The brother conspired to dethrone their mother. He was caught. Sir Francis Bacon tried his brother. Sir Francis Bacon was the Queen's attorney. He got his brother convicted and sentenced to death. He got his brother executed. Now, you think your family's dysfunctional? I know, I can complain about mine too. But being a victim doesn't help. Because no matter what's on your plate, and you may not be to blame for it, but you are responsible for it. It's your job and your duty to take that shitty mess that you've been served up on that plate, that heaping hot pile of shit. You have to convert it into something nutritious for you. You have to make something good of it. Good day.